It's quiet 5 minutes time now. Basket, beans, pudding. Now, dead easy. You see, some people, you know, and they get a pod like this and they're breaking the end, or they're trying to break the end, they're trying to pull it down and crack it open and pull it apart. Rubbish, man. Just get the bean, bend it with your thumb. There it goes. Your thumb on the bean at the back, and as you do, pops out. Easy as that. Just tip them straight down into your bowl. Pods, or should I say future compost. Never throw anything away. Now, these are a lovely healthy bean. I can't remember what they were. Probably the Sutton, something like that. 'Cause I normally buy the old varieties, and I like Sutton. But I have grown so many of these in the past. Now, a lot of people will tell you you've really got to look after your beans. Well, I don't think you do. Beans are a very hardy plant, you know. I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong. You've got to look after them a little bit. You know, you've got to give them a bit of water if they get too dry, otherwise they'll not grow. But other than that, they're very good. I love that noise. Get in there. That's like the bell used to be in Heaton Park when I was a kid, when they used to still have park keepers, and they used to ring the bell at about 4 o'clock to let you know the park was shut. That sound, see how it's recreated. That's just what it sounded like. So I grow these beans. Very rarely eat them fresh, I have to be honest, because we normally have things like dwarf French bean and that, and lots of fresh peas to eat as well. But these I tend to freeze and blanch them first. Always got to blanch your beans first, or they do not keep at all. They just go horrible. So, let me just twist that a little bit. That's better. So, beans are podded, and look at that. Now that's about one and a half carrier bags full of beans. There's got to be a couple of pounds of beans in there. Now, what I've got left here is my future compost. Now, this stuff is great. It's really good for your compost, but treat it as you would fresh green grass. There's a lot of moisture in there, so don't just go putting a huge wadge of bean pods straight into your compost like that, because chances are they'll get a bit sticky, and then they'll not rot down nicely, and you get a bit of slime. I find the best thing to do is treat it as I would fresh mown grass. Put a layer in, shred some cardboard or some newspapers or some brown material and put that in with it, and layer it, or just mix it in as you put it in. What tends to happen then is these things rot down, but they rot down with a lovely fresh smell to them, and they make the most amazing compost as well. They don't take that long to rot, so you can put it in your fast compost as well if you want, and you'll get a great compost. These are filled with goodness, so all the goodness that's in there that you're going to eat is also in there. Now, I'm not suggesting you eat these in this form. I have tried. They're not very pleasant. But by rotting them down and use them as compost, you're putting that goodness back into your garden. Now, you can just chop and drop these around your other crops, but I really need the fresh compost, so let's go get some in the compost. So here we are at my little compost bins. You can see I've got 2 of them growing there. Out on the top of that one, I've got another one of those lovely big courgettes growing. I've got some lovely oh, hey, what's under there? Hang on, I didn't see that before when I was harvesting. We'll have that one as well. Yeah, take that one off. And look at the size of that. Hello! One of my neighbours whizzing away there. So, we're back at the compost heap here, and I've already started putting some of the tomato cuttings in. So as you can see, I've put a couple of layers of wet newspaper on the top of it. I just put in a layer of these. It's dead simple. Put plenty in, but not too many. So I tend to cover over the paper like you can see there. Get a good bit in. And this is also a great way of recycling old newspapers. Now, don't go putting glossy mags in. You don't want that in. What you want is bog standard newspaper like this. You can even pop it in dry if you want, like I've just done there. Pop the rest of them in, and then we'll get the hose and we'll just water that down a bit. And there it is. So we'll just get a bit of this on there. There's a good swing. And I know I've got some more greens coming in, so I'll just water this down too. This is all the old borage plants. Rinse them all off now, give them a good cleaning, don't want any bits left on them. Now because we want these beans to stay vibrant and green and bright red, and we want them to keep their flavour, before we pop them in the freezer we must blanch them. Now the blanching process stops the enzyme that breaks down the bean from working, so it won't lose its flavour and it should keep that fresh, vibrant colour. Now beans need about 2 minutes to blanch in boiling water. As soon as it comes out of the boiling water, it must go straight into iced water or cold water, chill them right down low, and then once they're cooled, bag them off and pop them in the freezer. So we'll give it a go. So the beans will go straight into this boiling water. Now that will also kill off any bugs or any bacteria or anything that may have got through the washing process. Now I'm going to quickly check with my Alexa. Alexa, give me a 2-minute alarm. Okay, Paul. So Alexa's set now, which is just a big clock on the wall really. So I'm just going to swish them around a little bit to make sure there's no little bits of bean leaf or anything that I don't want in that process. So they're now in there going. I've got the cold water ready. Give them 2 minutes in there, and then we're going to use these Ziploc bags. Now these bags were bought from the supermarkets are available. And the reason I use these is because they're quite robust. I can use them a few times, wash them out and keep using them. Not like those little very thin things with the tie tops. Once you've used them once, they're no good anymore. If I'm going to use bags, I want them to last for quite a while. So once I've filled these full of the beans, I'll store them in the freezer like that, flat, not in a big round bag, because you cannot store much. But if you flatten off whatever you're going to put in your freezer, maybe even pop it on a tray to freeze, you'll get more in your freezer, which means your freezer will become more efficient for you. So we'll pop back here in another minute and a half and see how they're doing. Okay, so that's the 2 minutes up. I've got this lovely slotted spoon here, or net spoon, get them straight into that cold water. You see they're going straight in there. I want them to cool down as quickly as possible. Now sometimes I'll even put these under the tap and let the cold tap run on them. It's a bit of a waste of water. So they're in there now. We'll give them a bit of a stir, get the heat out of them, because I need them cooled quickly. Remember, the reason you're cooling it isn't for any super process, it's just to stop them cooking, because in the boiling water for 2 minutes they've actually started to cook. You don't want that process to continue, so you chill it down very quickly. The other thing is, if you put hot food in your deep freeze, it takes more energy to freeze it down, starts to melt the stuff next to it. So anyway, we're chilling those down. Take about a minute or two, then I'll come back to you. I've done a couple of changes of water on these, but look at the colour on that. I don't know if you can see it. They're still vibrant and green and red, and that's what I want, especially if I'm going to use them in, I don't know, salads or something. Now I'm not going to stuff them all into one bag, because if I do, there'll be too many to use sensibly. So I'm going to get them into, and remember when you seal these bags, get the air out. You don't want to be freezing lots of air. Well, not that you can freeze air, because it's got no mass. So we just pop that on there. We'll get 2 nice big bags of beans, and these will be lovely. In the middle of winter, these will be absolutely fantastic. You can use them in stews, you can use them in soups. I like them in soups particularly. You can make a really nice kind of broad bean hummus out of them as well, which I use them for quite a lot. And that is 2 beautiful bags. Let's just check the weight. Let's see what we're putting in the freezer there. And this is 1 picking from my plant, so it's not very much. And we're going to do this in old fashioned. So there we've got 2.5 pounds of beans. Champion. Easy. Harvested, cleaned, blanched and frozen. And the husks have all gone into the compost and they'll make me a great compost. Have a go at beans, they're really easy. You can't make a mistake with them. You can grow them in a bucket outside your back door, you can put them in a window box, you can put them in the side of your garden in a border, you can grow them anywhere. If you've got an old bathtub, chuck them in. I mean, they really will grow anywhere, and it's fantastic to have that fresh vegetable protein in the middle of winter when you really need it. Give them a go.